Hey, what's up, Chemical Guys fam? Winter is upon us, which means that it's now time to show you guys our winter tips and tricks for caring for your vehicle, because the last thing that you want to do is not care for it and your investment goes to waste. It gets all dirty, damaged, and you have permanent damage on your vehicle. So today, we're going to be sharing with you guys our top tips and tricks to maintain your car clean and fresh for the winter season. All right, guys, so we're just going to go ahead and kick it off. Now, the main product that we're going to be using today is EcoSmart Concentrate. Now I say concentrate because our EcoSmart comes in two versions. We have a ready to use version, which normally comes with a sprayer top, and we also have our concentrate, which is going to give you a better bang for your buck, especially if you love EcoSmart. This is going to be the best bang for your buck. Now the great thing about EcoSmart is that it's a waterless wash solution, so you don't need any kind of running water, no buckets, no dirt traps, no wash mitt, no foam cannon, no garden hose. Whatever else that you use to wash your car, you don't need it. All you need is EcoSmart. This isn't an optional sprayer, which I'll talk a little bit more about right now, but all you would need is EcoSmart, another sprayer bottle to spray it out with, and some microfiber towels. So I'm going to show you guys how to properly dilute this right now. So the reason that I went with the EcoSmart Concentrate is because, believe it or not, this one bottle right here will actually give you 2 gallons worth of product. That's right, 2 big jugs worth of product just from that one 16-ounce bottle. And I'll show you guys how to dilute it right now. So EcoSmart Concentrate can actually be diluted. It can be diluted to a 16:1 ratio. Now I do already have 32 ounces of water in this container, which means that all I have to do is add 2 ounces of EcoSmart Concentrate. But before I do that, I want you guys to come up close and check this out. So at the bottom here, you're gonna notice this white stuff. Now, at first glance, you may think it's spoiled or something. It's not. That's actually synthetic wax and carnauba wax mixed in there. So before you use it, you wanna make sure that you give this bottle a good shake. That way that wax mixes in with the product and you actually wash and you wax your car at once. Hence, EcoSmart Waterless Wash and Wax. So I'm just gonna make sure to shake that up really good. And now that that's all mixed up, we're gonna go ahead and open up our cap here. I'm gonna take off my seal because I should have done this before we started shooting. And I'm just gonna set that in the little bin to the side, and we're only gonna add about 2 ounces. So now that we've added our 2 ounces, all you wanna do now is set your bottle down, put the sprayer nozzle back onto the Mr. Sprayer. Now, another thing I do want to mention is I want you guys to come up close. Now, on your Mr. Sprayer, you actually have this rubber seal. Now, if you don't have this rubber seal, you want to make sure that you have it on there, because what ends up happening is if you don't have it, it does not create an airtight seal. Hence, it's not going to do its proper job. So make sure that the rubber seal is on there. Go ahead and set that down. And then all you want to do now is twist it on. Twist it on as much as you can. And then what you want to do now is now pump. Once you pump it up and it's ready to be sprayed, now you can go ahead and infinitely spray the surface of your vehicle with the squeeze of a trigger, as opposed to having to spray so many times with the sprayer nozzle like on one of these bottles. So that's when the Mr. Sprayer comes in clutch, because it's gonna save yourself a lot of strain on your wrist and your fingers when It's gonna save yourself a lot of strain from your wrist and your fingers when it comes to spraying down your car. Because if you think about it, you can actually use EcoSmart on the entire surface of your car, including the paint, the glass, the chrome, the wheels, the headlights, the tail lights, the exhaust tips as well. So now that you're all ready to start spraying, now you can go ahead and grab some microfiber towels. Now, one thing that you wanna keep in mind, tags. Before you wipe down your vehicle, you wanna make sure that you inspect your towels and remove any embedded tags that are on the actual towel itself. That way you don't scratch the paint. So to start off with, I'm only gonna use 2 towels, one to wipe and then one to buff off the excess. So now I'm gonna make my way to the car and show you guys how to use EcoSmart. All right guys, so before we begin, one thing I do wanna emphasize right now is don't set your towels on your dirty car. Just keep them to the side or keep them on your car. I probably should have left them on my cart, but I'm just gonna keep them here for now. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the spray pattern on the Mr. Sprayer. Now, this can actually adapt to however you want it to spray. You can actually shoot it very wide or very narrow. So right now we're just gonna go ahead and basically, what's the word here? We're going to configure. That was the word. We're gonna configure the sprayer tip of the Mr. Sprayer because I'll show you guys right now. I don't know what setting it's at right now. So I'm just gonna spray it and we'll see if it's big or small. All right guys, so right away I can tell that the sprayer pattern is actually very wide. So what I'm gonna do right now is actually just loosen it up a little bit. That way we have more of a narrow spray. And I know there's a bunch of residue on the car right now. I'm not worried about it because I'm still gonna use it throughout the hood. I'm just gonna slightly open this up. I'm gonna test it now. Okay, it's a little bit too direct for my liking. That's that's the spot. That's it right there. So now I'm gonna just continue to spray the rest of this hood. And as you guys can see, it does a pretty incredible job at spraying a generous amount of product onto the surface that you're working on. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to allow EcoSmart enough time to uplift the dirt, the grime, and any kind of contaminants that are sitting on the surface. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are like very, what's the word? Very like confused when it comes to waterless washes because they feel like they scratch. But in reality, we've taken a lot of time and effort into researching waterless wash technology. That way we have the safest wash possible. Now, the reason that this works is because right now, the chemical, what it's doing is uplifting it from the surface, it's encapsulating it. That way it makes it safer for us. So this is why you want to have enough microfiber towels to wipe down your vehicle with, because I'll show you guys right now in a quick second. So I'm going to set my towel down. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll my wrist as I wipe. And this is gonna ensure that I don't create any kind of hard dirt lines. So as you guys can see right here, the dirt is thoroughly spread out along the towel. Now what I mean by hard dirt lines actually is, I'll show you guys on purpose right here. Don't do this at home, but I'm gonna show you guys for educational purposes only. So a lot of people will get the towel, they'll set their hand down on it and they'll just just smear it all the way down. And then look at this, guys. This is what ends up happening. You get this hard dirt line. That hard dirt line is gonna scratch your paint. That's exactly what you don't want. And that's why we roll our wrist as we wipe so that we don't get that hard dirt line. So I'll show you guys one more time, rolling the wrist as you wipe throughout the surface. That way the dirt and grime gets distributed throughout the towel and you don't have any kind of heavy dirt borders just scratching along the paintwork. So now what you want to do after you use both sides of your towel, now you want to go ahead and flip it and make the best use out of your towel. So now we're going to go ahead and do this little edge right here that I missed. Just rolling my wrist. And then now that you're done, if there is still like little like bee pollen and bird droppings still left on your vehicle, take this time to go ahead and spray a little bit more product, or you can actually still use the lubrication that's on your towel. And just kind of go over it once again, just to make sure that you knock off anything that's more embedded on the surface before having to resort to scrubbing. Now that's one thing, and that's another thing I do want to mention. If there's anything left behind, please don't do this. Don't do that, because if there's anything abrasive on the surface and you do that, you're gonna notice some little like scratch patch right here. So don't do that, just go over it. Left, right, up and down, no circular motions. That way, if in the case any kind of debris gets lodged onto your microfiber towel, it doesn't create a swirl throughout the surface. And then, like I said, this product does contain a wax. So what you want to do afterwards, and the reason I have my secondary towel that's dry, is because we're just going to go over it once again. And this is just to ensure that we buff off that layer of wax and any remaining residue left behind. And just like that, you're all done. As you guys can see, you guys can come up for a little close-up. The car is now clean, it's shiny, and not just clean and shiny, but it's also protected as well with the light layer of carnauba wax. So I'll go ahead and just give my cameraman some time to go ahead and pan, show you guys the incredible before and afters, and how incredible it did at removing the dirt and grime from your car safely without using any kind of running water. All right guys, so now that I've done that side of the hood, now I'm just gonna spray the middle and this side of the hood very quickly. That way I can continue to clean. And we're gonna mimic the exact same thing, but one thing I do want you to keep in mind is the sides of your towel. Make sure that you keep track of what sides are dirty. As you guys saw, this is the two sides that I used for that side of the hood. Now I'm gonna try to use these two sides for this side of the hood. And we're gonna be utilizing the same technique where we roll our wrist as we wipe. And you can actually do this a couple times on one individual side. You just wanna make sure that you're paying attention to the filth on your towel. You don't wanna use it again on one side if it's getting pretty dirty. And then make sure you flip it and cycle through your towels as often as necessary. There's no such thing as having too much or too little towels when it comes to waterless wash, because remember, the goal here is to clean without scratching. Just gonna get this little patch right here. You can also fold your towel too if it makes your life a little bit easier. That's what I just did right now. And then I'm gonna go to a clean side right now. Now the clean side, even though it's clean, it is wet because the chemical seeps through. But that's a good thing because we're gonna use that lubrication to our advantage. And like I said, we're just gonna go over it one last time just to pick up anything left behind in terms of dirt or grime. More so specifically, the little bee pollen that ends up landing on your car and it's a little bit stubborn to remove. If you don't wanna go over it again, what I would recommend doing instead is just simply clay barring the surface if need be, in order to remove those little light specks of contamination that are still sitting on your car. But EcoSmart is a great product. It should basically do the job for you, so you don't really have to go back. And then one thing I am gonna do is just throw my towel in the dirty bin. And now I'm just gonna go over it with my dry workhorse towel. Another thing when it comes to towels, when it comes to waterless washing, is I would recommend using a short ply towel, which is basically our workhorse towels. These work out great for waterless washing because the short ply is gonna do a great job at just picking up the dirt and grime, as opposed to a finer towel. And I know that may sound kind of crazy, me recommending you to use a more so, I guess, basic towel versus a more premium towel, is just because the more premium towels, they have a higher ply, which is great for finishing. But when it comes to cleaning, you really want to use a short ply towel. And just like that, we're all done. I'm kidding. We're done with the hood. We still have the rest of the car to do. So what we're gonna do right now is we're actually gonna do a speed lapse of me cleaning the rest of the car. That way you guys have a better idea of how long this would actually take you to do on your own vehicle. Because I know on video, we take our time, we do cuts, we do edits, and you know what? That's normal, but I wanna show you guys right now how long it actually takes me to wash this entire car with EcoSmart. So we're gonna go ahead and set up a cam right now with the timer. We're gonna wash the entire thing, and then we're gonna come back with you guys for the next thing, which is those dirty wheels down there. So let me go ahead and set that up for you guys right now, and we'll be right back. All right guys, so we just finished washing the entire Subaru with our EcoSmart Waterless Wash and our mist sprayer. Now, one thing I did want to say is it took us about 20 minutes real time, and we did have some interruptions with people coming in and out, but that's no big deal. We're just gonna go ahead and call it 20 minutes because that's really how long it took. And now we're gonna go ahead and address these tires. So I did clean the wheels with the EcoSmart Waterless Wash, but now I actually want to clean the tires. Now the tires, just because they're more dirty, they have embedded dirt, grime, brake dust, previous dressings, they are going to be a little bit more dirty for something like EcoSmart, but that's where we have cleaners like Nonsense, which are great because they're colorless, they're odorless, they don't leave any residue behind, and they're great to use with the brush or just the microfiber towel. So in order to clean these tires from the browning that it has, what I'm going to do right now is actually spray some directly onto the tire. And then I'm also going to spray some directly onto one of our nifty brushes here. Now, traditionally, we use these for interior, but I love this brush just because it's very narrow and it's very stiff, which is great for scrubbing these tires. And it actually creates a nice deep cleansing foam. As you guys can see, this is breaking down all the embedded dirt, the grime, the previous dressings, the brake dust that clings onto your tires. Because remember, even though it's winter time and it's cold and we don't want to clean our cars, we also want to make sure that we're not just throwing our investments to the trash. And what I mean by that is, just because it's cold and you don't feel like being outside detailing your car, do this in the comfort of your own garage. And as you guys can see, we're not using anything that requires running water. Everything is completely isolated. We don't need to have running water, buckets, or anything. We're only using what we showed to you guys so far. All right guys, and now that I'm done scrubbing the tire, I'm gonna set my brush down. I'm gonna grab a black workhorse towel, and then we're simply just gonna buff off the residue of the Nonsense, as well as all the grime, dirt, brake dust, and any other contaminants that we have extracted from the tire, because we are gonna be coating it with a tire shine. Now, the reason we're applying a tire shine, I feel like a lot of people think that when it comes to tire shine, it's more of just a cosmetic thing, just to kind of make your tires look better, or not make them look so dried out and dull. But in reality, it actually does offer protection as well. So for all you guys out there who think tire shine is just kind of like optional thing, it is kind of optional in a sense, but it is preferred that you apply a tire shine to your tires, because not only does it make it look better, but it also protects it from those harsh UV rays and any other kind of contaminants that end up trying to land onto your tires as well. So right now I'm just cleaning out the grooves right here, just because whenever you apply a tire shine, you want to make sure that it's on a completely dry to the touch surface. So you want to make sure that the tire is completely dry, there's no moisture, there's no residue, and if anything happens to land on your wheels, just go ahead and just wipe it off. Nonsense is a colorless and odorless pH balanced cleaner, so it's not going to damage any kind of wheel finish, including painted, glossy, powder coated, or even matte. All right guys, and now that I'm done scrubbing it and wiping off the residue, I'm going to bring you guys in for a closer look. That way you guys can see what your tires should look like before applying a tire shine. As you guys saw before, it was all dirty, it was brown, it had the tire browning and the blooming going on, especially along the edges. But as you guys can see, it's nice and clean. It's not super, black looking yet because we haven't applied a tire shine, but it definitely looks a lot better just by cleaning it with our Nonsense all-purpose cleaner and our nifty brush. And we can actually go ahead and compare it to a tire that we haven't cleaned yet. As you guys can see right here, this tire is nice and clean and ready to be applied a tire shine, versus this one, which is dull, it's dirty, it's brown and neglected. So we just finished cleaning the tires, and as you guys saw, they look great, but now it's time to address the tires, and not only just the tires, but the trim as well. So what I have right here in my hand is some blue masking tape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mask it off. That way you guys can see what a clean and conditioned trim and tires should look like. Now, bear with me, I'm gonna try to line this up as best as possible. That way you guys don't get triggered when the line's here and the other one's over here. I know how frustrating that can be, so bear with me, I'm doing my best here. But now that we are done, we have our tire prep, we have our trim prep. We actually cleaned our trim as we were washing our car with the EcoSmart Waterless Wash. And now we're gonna be applying some tire and trim gel. Now, tire and trim gel is great because it's an oil-based product. Now, the reason that I'm going to be applying an oil-based versus a water-based product is because it's winter, it's raining, it's cold, there's snow, there's sleet, you name it. Water-based products don't normally traditionally work well in a wet environment. That's why we have products like oil-based dressings, which are extremely hydrophobic, especially tire and trim gel, which is a thick oil-based dressing. Now, oil and water don't mix, so as you guys can see, the oil will repel the water and your shine and protection will last a lot longer. So that's why we're going with an oil-based versus a water-based product. So I'm gonna apply a couple drops of product to my microfiber applicator. Now I'm gonna be applying it to the trim first, and then I'm gonna be applying it to the tires, but I am not going to go back and use the same applicator to go back to the trim because, if you're going to your tires, there's a potential that you can get brake dust or any kind of abrasive particles from the lower parts of your vehicle back to the top part, and you don't want to cross-contaminate and scratch your paint or any kind of surrounding trim. So we're gonna apply it to the trim first. That way you guys can see. This is just for demonstration purposes. I will use a separate applicator when I go back and apply it to the rest of the trim and to the tires as well. We'll dedicate one for each. But for the purpose of this, we're just gonna use one. And as you guys can see, tire trim gel, it works great. I really love this product because even though it's a thick product and it does take some time to apply, the results are well worth it. And what I mean by that is this product, it is a gel, so it does take a little bit more work to kind of work the product into the surface, which is a great thing because then you have the assurance that the product has penetrated deeply into the trim or to the rubber of your tires for that long lasting result. And then just as a pro tip, what I like to do after I apply my trim, shine, whether it be a water-based or an oil-based product, I like to go back with a dry microfiber towel and just simply go over it just very lightly, nothing crazy, just to make sure that you pick up any excess. And then right now, I'll also reapply a couple more drops of tire trim gel to my microfiber applicator to apply to the tire, just because the tire, it's gonna need a little bit more oomph and coverage just because it's a larger surface and you have all these grooves to work with. So we're just gonna go ahead and apply it to the tire. And as you guys can see, this thing provides a super dripping wet shine. So for all you shine fanatics out there, tire trim gel, you cannot go wrong. This thing is it's a masterpiece. So let me just finish applying it to the tire real quick, and then I'll go ahead and pull off the tape to show you guys the final results. All right, guys, and now that I'm done applying to the tires, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my applicator to the side. And same thing, we're just gonna lightly go over it with a microfiber towel just to buff off any excess and ensure a fully dry to the touch finish. And now I'm gonna peel off this tape and reveal the incredible before and after. And as you guys can see, the trim, much more darker, much more complexion, it looks deep, it's conditioned, it's protected, as well as the tire as well, same thing. Rubber is conditioned, it's protected, it looks great. And as you guys can see, the tire looks great and it's completely dry to the touch. And it's also hydrophobic as well. So whenever you're driving in those winter conditions, any kind of water that ends up getting on your tire, you'll notice that it'll just beat up on the surface as well as on your trim as well. And yeah, that's about it. That's about how easy it is to wash your car with EcoSmart Waterless Wash, clean your tires with Nonsense all-purpose cleaner, and address your tires and trim with tire and trim gel within the comfort of your own garage. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a huge like. If you guys want to pick up any of the products that you guys see on today's video, they're all going to be linked in the description down below, and you can also pick them up at your local detail garage store. There's also a link for that down below as well. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but this is our Shine Station, our ultimate detailing cart. So if you guys are interested in this as well, it's also going to be in the links down below. My name is Joey. This is Chemical Guys. We'll see you next time.